Good morning. I'm Dick Wagner. Welcome to the Crest Network and our regular Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. webinar. We share, Bill and I and Scott Tarpley and Misty, we try to take turns and we share who does what on what day. So today is my day, and today I want to talk to you about using social media to expand your business opportunities. There is some pretty amazing statistics that are really shocking to consider. More than 70% of social network users shop online. There isn't a day that goes by, including Saturday and Sunday, that we don't have in our neighborhood, on our street, UPS and FedEx and Amazon and the post office. Even the post office is delivering on Sunday. Up and down our street, we're getting that kind of activity from the delivery people. And it even goes beyond that. It goes to Uber Eats and DoorDash, and oh my gosh, my neighbor across the street, almost every day they do Uber Eats or DoorDash for their meals. I don't quite understand that, but that's the reality of what's going on. More people follow brands than actually follow celebrities. And if you think about it, Lady Gaga or Justin Bieber or some of those kinds of celebrities have millions of followers, yet more people follow actual brands of products than celebrities. More than half of the users that buy online review products or services online. If they're not happy, they're really going to be trashing you online. More than 41% of users review contractor services. You can go to, what is it, Angie or some of those other contractor services that are available online, and you can see the reviews. You can go to Yelp and see what they're saying, even about you. Social media networking is what I'm really focused on, and I'm focused on it because I work with, the marketing people. And we know that it's easier than cold phone calling. All of us cringe at having to make cold phone calls. It's not comfortable. It's kind of like starting a conversation with somebody you don't know in an elevator or on a bus. We don't feel comfortable doing that. It's easier than direct cold visits. I call them cold calls, but they're really cold visits. And that, yes, that is hard. Many of us use tchotchke items, giveaways, donuts, bagels, some goofy little trinket thing to soften our visit, to make us not make them feel better, because let's face it, everybody will like what you take them in the form of donuts or bagels. But that really isn't legitimate. That's just using that whole concept as a crutch. Engaging with them in social media is real in the sense that if there is interaction, that's good. Social media by itself in a passive situation is terrible. Emails are very typical to that. If you use Constant Contact or one of those and you send out emails, as we do at the Crest Network, we send out 2,000 emails every couple of weeks in a newsletter. You know what? Almost every single one of them has indicated that they want to receive those emails, but only 1/3 of them actually open them. Our open rate is about 32 or 33%. The national average open rate, because people don't want to get that kind of crap generally, or they think it's crap, the open rate is like 14%. It's terrible. We're more than doubling the national average, and we still are only at 1/3 of the actual people that get the email. You can pretty much throw snail mail into the trash. That's what you do when you get snail mail. It's embarrassing. It's solicitations. Right now, I have on my desk, I have probably 10 different postcards from 10 different political people that I'm going to throw in the trash. Snail mail is terrible unless it's very, very targeted and very, very specific to a very narrow group. And social media is easier than networking events. Think about it. You go to a networking event, and by the way, BNI, I'm not trying to trash BNI, but because there might be a place for BNI, but BNI in and of itself isn't a very good networking event for you as restoration marketers. Think about that. If you're spending an hour or two a week or a couple hours a month involved in that kind of a networking event, it's a total waste. You rarely, I mean, if you're lucky to once a year get a lead, that would be shocking. But you know that you have to produce leads for everybody else. I maintain that of all of those bullet points on this slide, social media business networking is the absolute easiest as long as you do it right. But remember that face-to-face, actually being in front of them, is still the gold standard. It's still the very best way for restoration marketers to engage with their clients, as long as they're engaging with a legitimate business reason to visit them. Social media engagement gives you the opportunity to touch the contact virtually, to schedule a meeting with them, whether that's a face-to-face or a virtual meeting. It can help you establish a stronger relationship. And yes, the ultimate is to generate business. It is still the gold standard. People using social media don't want this guy on the picture. They don't want an obnoxious, in-your-face salesperson, and they don't want a salesy post. I actually have some clients who the owner demands that they put a photo every time they post something on their Facebook page. And although using a photo or a picture or a graphic is important, it says the name of their company at the beginning, on that news feed, but he insists that they embed the company logo in the photo or the graphic. That's really being obnoxious and really being salesy. They know who made the post. You don't have to be salesy. And then think about this. How about the social media, like a Facebook post where they're saying, hey guys, it's raining out right now. And if your house is flooded, we can help. Call XYZ Restoration. Salesy posts are offensive. They're obnoxious. And you shouldn't do them. The actual rule of thumb from social media experts is for every 10 posts that are not salesy, you can put one soft salesy post on. So it's a 10-to-1 ratio, 10 times not salesy, and then one time sort of salesy with a little bit of self-promotion. Some more statistics that I think are pretty important. Facebook, it's kind of like we love to hate it or we hate to love it, either way. But the reality is, whether we like it or not, they have 2.8 or more billion active users. And it's more than that because that number was as of December of last year when I updated that particular slide. Twitter, extremely important. Again, you might not like the politics of Twitter, but the reality is that it has now over 400 million active accounts. That's a lot of people to reach. And it's easy to reach because you can type out basically one sentence of what you want to say. And as long as what you want to say makes sense, it's useful and helpful, and it matters to the Twitter follower, it's okay. Again, the same rule applies to Twitter that applies to other social media accounts, 10-to-1, 10 non-salesy and 1 salesy. We at Crest use TweetDeck and we use ManageFlitter. TweetDeck is the absolute perfect complement to Twitter to manage your social media posts. You can go to TweetDeck and you can post what you want to say, and you can schedule it for the day and the time that you want it to go out on Twitter. And you can also, if you want, and I certainly don't recommend it, the social media experts don't recommend it, you could theoretically tie it to Facebook as well, so that when it goes on to Twitter, it goes on to Facebook. But I strongly recommend you do not do that. Pinterest has over 444 million monthly users. I have a personal Pinterest account, and I have maybe 10 or 12 Pinterest boards on there. And I have something around 12 or 1,300 monthly followers. And that's a big deal because Pinterest is visual. Pinterest loves videos and photos. And I put a lot of videos and photos on Pinterest, and they make it easy. If you're on a website that has a really cool video or a really cool picture that you'd like to get onto Pinterest, onto one of your boards, all you got to do is click on the P, and the P will actually take and post that on Pinterest. Guys, more than 14 million articles and photos or videos are pinned on Pinterest every single day. And 67%, 2/3 of all content that people pin on Pinterest is from a business website. You need to have on your website things that are pinnable. And you need to have a Pinterest account where you are looking at other interesting websites and other interesting information and pin that kind of stuff on there as well. And last but not least, in what I want to mention to you is specifically LinkedIn. LinkedIn has over really today, over 800 million active users. It's your absolute best source of prospect touches and engagements and interactions. More than 10 billion people have given out LinkedIn endorsements. If you go to my LinkedIn account, Dick Wagner, I guarantee you that I have, and sometimes it's even a little bit embarrassing, but I'll mention it anyway. I have over 50 LinkedIn endorsements from at least 50 people that have taken the time to write a paragraph about me. And obviously, they're all nice, but you should encourage, ask for those endorsements because it helps with your credibility. When you are visiting a client in person or online, one of the things that 95% of them are going to do is they're going to go to LinkedIn. They are going to search for you, and they are going to read your bio. They are going to read the information that you have on your profile. And I'm telling you, you better have things on there that matter to them. If it's all about you, if it's all about who you are, what you do, why you're a big deal, they're going to click right out of it and they're going to write you off. They're going to dismiss you. They're not even going to consider you ever again. And LinkedIn, the key Fortune 1000 companies, 85% of those companies are on LinkedIn, the people that matter to you. And 70%, I didn't put that statistic up here, but I know it, 70% of the Fortune 5000 staff are on. And you are reaching out to somewhere in that Fortune 1000 to Fortune 5000 organizations, whether you're calling on schools, colleges, nursing homes, it doesn't really matter. Hotels, they're all on there. Even amazingly, even managers of restaurants and auto body shops and key people like the pastors and so forth of churches are on there. Insurance agents are on there, real estate agents, facilities managers, business owners, those people that are decision makers and influencers. Guys, these are your potential clients. Their average age is 44. That's exactly your target market. You should be on LinkedIn. But you know what? If you're going to make your profile all about, hey guys, I do fire, water, smoke, and mold. If you get water in your basement, we suck it up. And really, come on. Don't pat yourself on the back. Don't make your LinkedIn profile about you. Don't make it all about your company. Make it all about why they should care, why it matters, why you have a passion for helping clients. Those are the kinds of profiles that work best on LinkedIn. And then I'll give it a token mention. It's really part of Facebook, but it has its own followers, and that's Instagram. It does have over 1.4 billion active accounts. And if you think about it, that's logical because Facebook has so many accounts. And since Facebook owns it, it's a logical step, but it's an instant sharing. And you can share it to Facebook or Twitter or Flickr or Tumblr or Foursquare and many others. Something that isn't talked about a lot is video. You probably, most of you that are, I think are all of you on this webinar are all Crest members. And you know that you have access to the crestlibrary.com and the crestnetwork.com. And you can go to the crestlibrary.com and you can sign in and you can see a whole lot of videos. Some are videos by Scott Tarpley. Some are videos by Bill Giannone. Some, and those are all about financials and processes and procedures. Scott Tarpley's and Misty's are often about production. Mine are usually about social media or marketing. 74%, this is a stunning number. 74% of adults watch videos online every single month. I think it's kind of interesting. My wife, Cheryl, says that she doesn't like to watch videos, but yet I see her on Facebook once in a while watching a video on Facebook. All of those videos are indirectly tied back to YouTube or Wistia or Vimeo, and an incredible number of adults, our target market, watch videos online. 2 billion people log in every single month to watch videos. And interestingly enough, you know, you can say this is a man's world. Sorry, Andrea and Ginny, but it's sort of the way it's been. The reality is 56% of those people that watch videos are male. 1 billion hours are watched every single day. I can't even comprehend. I can't wrap my head around the number 1 billion, much less 1 billion, not minutes, but hours are watched every single day on YouTube. They have the ability to track those statistics. And that's an incredible number. And you know what? You might say, well, geez, what kind of a video might I put on YouTube? Well, that's easy. Testimonials are brilliant. Testimonials are the real people, and testimonials add credibility and believability to you and your company. You can send out YouTube videos, little short ones, to in a text message. You can send them in an email. You can promote your company softly by using testimonials from those customers, those agents, those plumbers, those end user people that had a disaster. You can use testimonials to build your credibility and your believability. When they see those testimonials and they are credible and believable, it adds to your trust, or their trust in you, your clients' trust in you. And if you don't have trust, folks, you already know, no trust, no jobs. It's as simple as that. And your website alone isn't enough. Your buyers want to be educated. Yes, they want to be entertained, and they want your involvement, but they only want it when they want it. Think about that. They want to respond to you. They want to engage with you. They want to talk to you if you've educated them and entertained them properly, but they only want it when they want it. So you need to do blogging. This is a hard concept for many people to do. And I can tell you, some of you that are on this website are not the owners, and the owners need to hear this. And my recommendation is you send them the YouTube link of this video, this webinar, after we get it put onto YouTube. I recommend you send it to them so that they hear this. You can also tell them, hey, boss, you need to watch this, and you need to see this. And there are some ideas about blogging on there that you ought to have on our website. Or if you actually have a blog tab on your website, you really need to write blog articles. You need to get them on there. And if you aren't a good writer, or people in your company aren't a good writer, go offshore, go to Upwork, or go to one of those companies that'll write a blog article for you that makes sense. You can provide the topic, and they'll write the blog article you for like $30. And if you need to do blogging, and if you're going to do blogging and you can't do it yourself, or you don't have the time, and you don't want to hire a part-time or somebody from college to do it, spend 30 or 60 bucks and hire somebody from offshore to do it, and get them on your website on the blog section a couple times a month at least. We write blog articles for some of our clients. We charge a lot more than 30 bucks because we're writing very, very industry specific articles. And so our fees are more like 200 bucks, but you can inspire and you can motivate your audience. You can build your online brand that way because you're educating, you're entertaining them. It helps to establish your authority. It validates that you're really an expert in what you do. You have that expertise. It helps establish you as a thought leader. You need to be thought of as a thought leader. You should be telling your story and your company's story. Guys, it's not about fire, water, smoke, and mold. It's like, it's just like my teenage daughter who will stick her finger in her mouth like a fake gag. That's what I'm doing. Picture that right now. It's not about fire, water, smoke, and mold. It's not about using chem sponges and cleaning soot off of walls. It's not about sucking up water. It's not about removing mold from the bathroom wall. It's far, far more than that. You need to be standing out in a crowded field, and it is a crowded field. I recently wrote an article for, I really don't even remember, it was either R&R magazine or C&R magazine or Clean Facts or one of those, where I did a survey and I found that in the 5 key cities, there are five key cities in the United States. There are upwards of 70 restoration companies, or alleged 70 restoration companies. And I even went further and I did the survey to see how many there were in each of the individual markets that I work with clients in. That's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, to St. Louis, to El Paso, New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Florida. And I looked at those territories and I searched them, and every one of them has an average of 50, I think the number was 55 restoration companies in their market. I don't know what to say except wow. If you aren't different, if you aren't setting yourself up as an authority or a thought leader, you're missing the boat. And you've got to use and put on there, whether you hire someone to write it for you or you write it yourself, you've got to have topics that your consumer, the person that you're trying to reach, that you're trying to target, you've got to have topics that they care about. Otherwise, it's a whole moot point. And I think that it's something that most of my clients do. I'm trying to think of somebody that might not, but most of the marketers that I work with have a private Facebook group, most of the time for plumbers, and a few of them have private Facebook groups for insurance agents in their territories. And most of them do things like weekly contests or encourage their plumbers or their insurance agents to post a picture. And then most of them do on Monday morning, after a whole weekend of waiting for the responses, they do a live drawing on camera and pick the winner, either a winner by random drawing or winner by who had the best picture on there. And they get some small token like a $25 Starbucks or a Dunkin' card or something like that, a gift certificate to Wawa or any other type of gift that you want to give them, a $25 custom Yeti mug. Okay. And then, geez, don't forget this. This is something that's cheap. It's free. And I want to tell you about it. Most people don't know about it. But Google has something called Google Alerts. I signed up for Google Alerts. It was free. And I signed up for 2 different types of Google Alerts. I want to know about flooding that's happening anywhere in the United States. And I want to know about mold remediation that hits the news. that is somewhere in the United States. And it is astounding to me. I have selected because I would be overwhelmed, but I get those notifications every Sunday afternoon. Are you guys using Google Alerts? All you got to do is go to Google and type in Google Alerts, and it'll take you to that page. And it'll walk you through a very simple, what's the topic or what's the thing you want to be alerted about. And you can say the frequency, you can say the area or territory. And so they become automated Google searches that show up in your email, so you can get a search and find out information on just about any topic you choose. It enables you to stay up to date on disaster stories in your market. It enables you to check up on your competition. I've got one client. I don't know if I agree with this, but I've got one client that has separately entered the names of all of his employees into Google Alerts, because he said, I want to know if they make the news for some reason, and I want to know it fast. I want to know if they got arrested for drunk driving, or I want to know if they're featured as a guest speaker at a chamber meeting or whatever. I want to know what's going on with my employees. So I think that might be a bit intrusive, but I do know of a client that does that. If there's a trending story, you can also put a Google alert on there to track that trending story and find out anything and everything that happens on that trending story. That enables you to be in the know. Guys, please consider using Google Alerts. I put this on there again as a reminder, but your post should absolutely never be salesy. And I'll put a little asterisk there and say 1 in 10 should be or could be salesy. You hate salesy, I hate salesy, we hate salesy people calling on the phone. We hate salesy people at the car dealership. Even when we're in a store, Kohl's or Target, and a clerk says, can I help you with something? Our response is always, no, I'm just looking. Okay, maybe we are just looking, but usually we're going to the store for a specific thing. We just don't want to be sold. So we just say, no, we're just looking. We don't want salesy. Make sure that your profile, and I mean on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and each one has different amounts of information that you can enter, but your profile needs to be about them. It needs to be about what you can do for them, why they ought to care, how it will make their life better, and it cannot be about you. There are places for example, on LinkedIn, there are places where you can put that you graduated from this college, or you have this award, or this certification. You can enter that information, but there's an appropriate place for it. On your actual paragraph profile, it needs to be about them and why it matters to them. Really glad that all of you were able to be on here today. I'm going to get this converted over to a YouTube video, and then it will be posted on the Crest Network probably later this afternoon. And so if you want to pass it on to others in your company, I encourage you to do so. When you're hiring a coach, I always maintain, don't accept cookie cutter coaches. Don't accept coaches that want to generalize and give you great theory, but don't work with you in your specific market and your specific company culture and style. I'm Dick Wagner. You've been watching the Crest Network webinar. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.